welcome back to another episode of Gas, Grab a Seat podcast, where we have unfiltered chats that fill your mind. I'm your host, Amanda, and today is a special day because I brought a friend. My friend Austin is here, and
Hi.
I am crazy excited about the conversation, about all that we're about to get into, because I already know, when we get together, it can get very exciting.
It can.
So, Austin, introduce yourself. Tell the world who you are, where you're from, all the things.
Yeah, let's do it. So my name is Austin. I'm 31 years old currently, dancer by trade, student currently as well, and just overall a lover of the human spirit and the human experience. So me and Amanda have been friends for a little while now,
Right.
and it's just always so uplifting and encouraging every time we talk and link, and so I'm super stoked for this. I'm really excited to see where the conversation goes and what we get into.
Facts. Thank you for being here.
Thanks
You
for having
literally, when I was like, I'm gonna start this, I'm gonna do this on my own, and I don't want to just talk to the people all the time by myself. Like, I want to have some fire people on the show who I know are just like blessings in my life, and it could be blessings to other. I was like, who can Austin, what are you doing?
I'm honored. I'm so honored.
First person that came to my mind, because I think the world of you. I think you're truly incredible, and you know that. And funny thing is, though, y'all, I think me and Austin had a conversation a couple years back. We know each other through a mutual friend, and I don't know if anybody else ever pays attention to their relationships, but you can very much be around people and surrounded by people, but not really know them at all. And that's how I felt about Austin. I literally just always knew great energy, super exciting, thought the world of him, but I was like, who is Austin? Who is he? What is he really about? What is he into? We had chit chats here and there, but who's Austin? And so I'm excited to just sit down and have this conversation with you because what?
Yeah, amazing. It's exactly like she was saying. We would go out to nightclubs, or our group would get together, and every time I saw her, it was just a light. It was just Amanda, and then she's like, Austin. It was just so affectionate and so loving. And we finally got the chance to actually have conversations, and it was whoa, our mindsets were just similar places, similar perspectives, and similar goals too, right? It's kind of hard to, in the world, there's so many different people going for different things that when you meet someone who has a similar value structure to you, it really hits. Not least in person, where most people are online and you're hitting likes and comments, but you're not really getting that exchange of ideas. And so we had that conversation, and it was just wow, we really clicked. And so to dive even deeper, and especially have it documented, I mean, who knows who's going to watch this? Our kids in 10, 20 years or something, our spouses, people who really admire whatever we do in the future, they'll be seeing this too. And so this is really exciting stuff. This is really exciting stuff.
It is. And I think this is why I felt like you were the perfect person, because of just that overall, it's so much bigger than just now. It's the overall, how does this carry on? What kind of legacy or stamp does this make? And so
straight up,
that's what the conversation with you so crazy in the best way.
Love you.
And that's the thing too, as you get older, I think you become, or you get to a place where it's you want to go deeper. Everything sometimes is very surface level and just it is what it is. And
for sure,
cool, your favorite color, or apparently you like to go out because we see each other in these parties.
But
what else is there to you? For a long time, I didn't know you were in school. I didn't know your age. Why am I around you every weekend 3 times a week but don't know you?
Saying,
that's crazy.
Yo.
So what are you in school for? I mean, I know, but what type of people are you in school for?
So right now I'm in school for psychology, and frankly, I've really been dragging my feet. We're not allowed to curse. We're allowed to curse.
You curse?
Okay. I've really been dragging my ass finishing my degree, and it's only because by nature, even though I'm what people would say is high aptitude, I can grasp things and concepts. I'm just not naturally a really strong student. School, academia really takes a lot of effort for me, and so it's been challenging to really discipline myself to finish. The only thing is I don't know how to quit, and so while I may drag it out, it's gonna get done. And so I have about 1 more year, I think 4 more semesters, and then I'll be done with psychology. At least my undergraduate.
You're at the finish line.
It's right there. It's right there. I just need to finish it. So that's what I'm in the process of doing right now.
I'm proud of you. I mean, and
I love you.
He's a psychology major. I'm a sociology, so I feel that
they're right. They're really right there. Sociology and psychology are right there.
They are literally besties.
Dead ass.
Austin's going to be very much in your mind. I'm going to pay attention to your actions, like your behaviors. So, but either way, like it's going to work.
So I'm telling you, we're right there.
We can read you for filth if need be. No, like, we can see some things that maybe you didn't know. So
I'll tell you about yourself.
Yeah, hello, that part. And obviously, you said you're a dancer by trade. How long have you been dancing?
So I took.
He can dance his ass off, by the way.
Listen, y'all. So it was not easy comings at all. So I remember my first exposure to dance that I remember was when I was in like second grade. My mom was watching some jazz music video and I was dancing. I was just moving to the music, and my mom is laughing. And so I turn around and I'm like, Mom, what's so funny? She was like, boy, you cannot dance. And I was like, what do you mean I can't dance? I was just doing it. Like, it felt good. She's like, you have no rhythm. And I was like, oh, okay, so I have no rhythm. You need rhythm to dance? That's cool. And so I asked her, I was like, Mom, how do I get the rhythm? And she straight up told me, you can't. You're either born with it or you don't have it. And you don't have it. And that memory really stung because it just felt like something that I wanted to do was like blocked from me. But I really liked it. I enjoyed it. And so I just kept at it and I kept at it. And then in 8th grade, I saw a breakdancing competition called Red Bull BC1. And it was one of the first like TV broadcasts of a dance competition. It was like the first dance program I saw. I think this was even before I saw America's Best Dance Crew. Okay. The Red Bull BC1 breakdancing thing. And so that like opened me to the world of b-boying and breakdancing. And I was like, yeah, I really like this. And so I got good at like handstands and back spins. Those were like the first moves I really started practicing. Yeah. And people were impressed by it. They were like, yo, this guy is like, he's dope. He's a dancer. But then I had a homegirl named Jasmine who called me out. She was like, this has nothing to do with the music. Like, you're not actually dancing. I mean, it's impressive, but this isn't dance. Okay. And so I spent a long time b-boying and kind of avoiding like the dance aspect of things. I was really just trying to be impressive and wow people. But when I was 22 years old, I went to a dance studio in Mid-City, LA. I can't remember the name of it. But it was a mom and pop dance studio. I took my first dance classes there. And I really liked it. Okay. And the teacher actually saw potential in me. She was like, you're really good at this. Like, I could see you like taking this somewhere. And so from there, I just took classes. And 3 years after taking my first class, I was at a level where people wanted me to start teaching. Wow. And so I got booked for a dance convention in Iowa and taught at their university in the summer. That was a lot of fun.
That is fire.
And so it really was like every stage of it. Like I've been through all of it, like where you're like the beginner who's hopeless and it seems like you'll never get it, to being the person where when people see you dance, they're like, oh my God, you're so talented. This looks so easy. Right. And it's like, you just don't know what was like back there. Yo, so much effort, so much sweat, so many tears, like actual tears.
I can relate to that because I don't know how to dance. Like, y'all know, I do not.
Amanda's underselling herself. No, you've been in my class too. You're good. You're solid. You're not terrible. Like, you got rhythm. You're good.
Okay, so I don't have 2 left feet, but like I cannot dance. Like, look. Compared to like my friends who be out here just messing it up on the floor, I be like, I'm gonna stay in my lane. No. I'm good with that. I'm completely good with staying in my lane. I got all the video for you. I'm the hype man. No problem.
Hey, I love that too though. It's like you don't let that stop you. So like when we're doing like the group dances, like the cha-cha slides and stuff, you be hitting them steps though. And I'm like,
I can do that. I can follow
that. Oh God, I love that though. I love that.
I can follow that and put my own little swag to it. But I feel like I'm a shoulder person. And ultimately though, like I do feel like your level of dance in some ways, and like this is definitely a question I have for you, like do you feel like in some ways there might be a correlation to like dance and either mindset or confidence? Because I think for me, like I said, I have no problem being like, yo, that's not my lane, like I'm good in other areas and I can take a back seat and chill out. But there's other people where it's like, if these are my friends and they're so good at this and I'm the one person that can't, it totally, I think, just messes with them in a way where they're just so uncomfortable and these are your friends. So it sucks to be uncomfortable with your friends, but you can be. And so I'm like, do you feel like those correlate? And like, what would your advice be for someone like that?
Damn, that is a powerful question. I think it depends on how you would define confidence. And so I think the way that I would define it is actually really aligned with how you just like described it is a lot of people hear confidence and they think that means viewing yourself positively and never thinking anything negative about yourself or critical about yourself. But I think true confidence is actually when you're at ease with your shortcomings, you're at ease with where you don't exactly meet the standard. And you're not just at ease with it, but you can acknowledge it without it diminishing how you feel about yourself. Like you still feel worthy, you still feel like deserving. You know, it doesn't take away from your sense of self-worth. And so someone like you who can be around people who know how to dance, and you can say, I don't know how to dance, but let's have fun. Like I'm still here, and like I'm still contributing to the energy and facilitating that good vibe. And there are people who are under the belief that if they aren't in a positive, if they don't view themselves positively, then that's a bad thing. And I think that can actually get really toxic too, is like that kind of toxic positivity, and it can really take you down the path of delusion like really quickly. Delulu. You can get Delulu like real quick, I'm telling you. And especially because like we're humans and we're not always going to meet the standard. Like we are fallible and we're not perfect. And so in those moments where your humanity is showing, it's like, are you still going to be loving? Are you still going to be encouraging? Are you still going to uplift and instead of being jealous and trying to tear down the people who are right in their more admirable position, can you be that light? Can you be the praiser? Can you be a good audience to that? And I think that's probably a cultural thing too, right? Is like being in America and being in Western culture, everyone wants to be the star and everyone wants to be like the one being praised. But it's like the audience, the people giving the round of applause, they have a real power, right? Like they give the star their platform. And so I really think that in those moments when we can't be the star, it's almost, you have an obligation to uplift the people who are stars, because like what you praise and admire, you're going to move towards. And so if you want to move towards greatness in your moment of weakness, then you should acknowledge and admire and give credit to the people who are being great.
I love that. That's real.
I think that's real confidence, is like when you don't have your moment in the light, are you okay like sitting in the dark and being okay there, right? You're not anxious, you're not tearing yourself down. You're not saying that because I'm in the dark, I'm unworthy. It's like these things happen in cycles, and there are going to be times when you're strong. There are going to be times when you're weak. And it's not about saying, I'm always strong, I'm always good. It's like, even when I'm weak, this is who I am and I accept it. I'm at peace with my shortcomings. I think that's really what confidence is.
I love that. And I've never looked at it that way, but that's incredible.
Yes. You are beautifully confident. Yeah, it's like you can be in a room full of great dancers and you can still enjoy yourself. But some people can't do that. Like they've been sold a lie to what confidence is. And
and that's true. I think that's the thing too. Like definitely, I think we're sold what we think certain things are supposed to be, and then we definitely buy into that narrative. And like once we bought into it, I think it's sometimes very hard to like backtrack your way out of it. Like,
oh my God, it's so hard.
It's just so hard. This rabbit hole that you go down, and everything now is an attack. And why are we like, the world is good enough at attacking us? Why do we attack ourselves so much?
Yes.
What? If you cannot be like your own biggest fan, like if you can't be your own Ali, I'm the greatest, like who's going to do it for you? Because what do you mean? Half of the world's in competition anyway. Like, what do you mean? The world is so good at, I think, destroying our kind of confidence and our self-worth. And like, so what are the things that you do to like get that back? I mean, to me, you're a naturally confident person. Like, I don't know if you were always that person though. Like, were you always that person? Was it like the ages between 8 and whatever that like, hey, I wasn't the best dancer, I was this and that like, but like, I mean, to me, you are just this star. So,
oh, Amanda.
Like, stop, Austin.
I love you.
I love you so much. I love you too. You know I do. But yeah, like if you weren't always this person, like what steps did you take? Was it because you increased certain skills? Was it your mindset? Like what did you do to become the greatness that you are now?
Let's see. I'm gonna take off my glasses. I really feel like confidence for a long time was just very hard to understand. Like it was really hard to grasp. Just as a concept, I didn't get it because I was so insecure and I think part of that just comes with being young, right? Is like when you're young, when you're a teenager, even when you're in your early 20s. I mean, I'm in my 30s now, and so you're trying to find your way, and you're still trying to get a grip on the world and what's going on and who you want to be and how you want to show up. And I think for me, what helped a lot was identifying the things that I do admire in people and then striving to get those for myself. And a part of that is like inspiration, but it was also like allowing my jealousy to inform me rather than allowing it to like oppress me.
Wow.
And so when I saw, like, for instance, I got into lifting weights when I was 26, I want to say. Prior to that, I was just doing like calisthenics. And so in the exercise, in the fitness world, there's like two camps. There are the people who don't use weights, they use their body weight. They're like, yo, calisthenics is where it's at, functional strength. And then there are people who are into jack and steel, and they're just like, yo, like bench press, squats, like heavy weights. And they very much kind of clash against one another. And so I was in the calisthenic camp. I was doing body exercises. And I realized that the people who were lifting weights, who were really big and really strong, I was jealous of them. And rather than, for a long time, rather than actually saying like, yo, like, that's hard what you guys are doing and like I really like it, I would try and oversell myself, where it's like, well, I bet you can't do a handstand. Like, well, actually, like, I can't bench press, I can't squat. And so I had to humble myself to say, I'm jealous, but I think my jealousy is because I think you guys are awesome and what you do is really difficult and I can't do it. But I'd love to learn. I'd love to try. And so I humbled myself. For the first year I was weightlifting, I wasn't doing a lot of weight. I was doing like squats, for instance. I was just doing the bar and struggling with it, like going down, and then like my legs are coming up and it's like I'm dancing. Like my legs are shaking, like shaking, boy. And so like I'm dancing under the bar, legs just trembling. And you know, for that first year, that was how it was. It was like slow progress. And now I've built up to like respectable levels of weight that I can move, but I never would have even jumped into that if I didn't humble myself to say, like, I feel some kind of way seeing these people, but I don't think that it means they're bad people. I think that means there's something in them calling to me. And so that was what I did, was I took that kind of jealousy and envy. I took that as a call to move towards that. Like, that was where I needed to go. And my life really has been fulfilling and more enriched by weightlifting and weight training. I really don't know what I'd be doing without my time if I wasn't doing that.
Wow.
So
that's incredible, though, because I don't think a lot of people could do that. Like, and to have that thought process and that perspective on it of like, hey, like, I am jealous. Like, I do feel a type of way, but also like flip that and like get something good out of it. But like, okay, now how can I move forward? What can I take from what I'm jealous of and use it to like my bit? That's incredible, because what? Like, what? No, for real. People cannot do that. I think that's one thing I will say that, like, not like be like, oh, I'm prideful, but like that I do pride myself on, is I always say, like, I can definitely call myself out on my own bullshit. Like, I can call myself out. Like, I can clearly be like, Amanda, stop. You are the issue right now.
Amanda,
stop.
Damn,
so,
that's powerful,
and like,
though.
I can do that, but I don't think a lot of people can. And I do feel like that has been like something that has changed my life. Like, just being able to like see me and just be like, it is what it is. And like, it's cool. And like, this is BS, or I need to change this. I need to work on this. Like, that really has been the game changer in my life. And it's also just made me be like, have this level of confidence where it's like, I'm not for everybody, and that's okay. I'm not meant to be. I'm not meant to be, and that's fine. Like, I'm learning my way. And even with my biggest issue's always been letting go. Like, I'm loyal to a fault. And so even like literally like the dumbest thing, it's my gym membership, it's my friends, it's what, like, I am loyal to a fault. Like, I do not want to leave or let go. But there's sometimes where it's like, elevation requires separation. And if that means like you got to let go of something, you got to cancel something, like, people serve a reason and a season, and it's nothing personal, but it's personal for me. Like, I have to step away. Like, I have to limit the access, because like, I'm learning things about me and taking things away from situations, conversations, like scenarios. And like, I'm growing and I'm just doing work in me, and maybe you're not, and that's okay. But like, I mean, I don't know. That was so hard for me.
I
like,
resonate with that
really
so much.
Yeah,
I resonate with that so much.
Like, I still pray about it.
For sure.
I be taking it to God, like, God, you know me. Like, from top to bottom. You know how hard it is for me to let go. Like, let me be okay and realize that like relationships can change, and that's okay, because I be struggling.
And I feel like we have similar hearts in that. And maybe like, have you ever had to separate from someone, but then like maybe you go to God with it and you're like, God, just elevate them too, like change their heart too, have them like kick off this habit, have them not drink so much, have them not smoke, and like, I don't have to leave them, God, just help me. And it's like,
Facts.
Sometimes it's like you said, elevation requires separation.
It does. And obedience. Like, I think that's like the thing that like God really been like on my head with this year is like obedience. Because like me, I'm one of those people like, yeah, like take it to God in prayer, right? I'm gonna take it to God in prayer, and God knows like how to reach you. And I think that was one thing I was like struggling with for a while too, was like, how do I know I'm hearing from God? And like one, it was a matter of like I realized like I didn't actually trust myself. And so by not trusting myself, like I couldn't trust like that I know that I'm hearing from God or that this is his word. So it was like, one, I had to like dive deeper and like really like be able to stand on God's promises in his word, but also like, Amanda, like learn to trust yourself, like grow. And so in that though, it was just a matter of like, I would hear God, like no, like praying about a situation, right? Time and time again. And God is at the point, I've gave you the same answer a million times. And I swear there was one time like I was praying about a situation and like that exact night, like, and of course I feel like when you think about things, sometimes before you go to bed, you dream about them. Oh, yeah. But real talk, I'd be like, Holy Spirit, speak to me in the ways that you know that I'm going to get it. So if that means like I see the same quote a million times, if it's in a song, like whatever confirmations you have to give me, because I'm a child, I still need confirmation.
Damn, that kind of self-awareness though, and humility to even ask for that.
I'm like, God, you know me. Like I'm still kind of like I'm not a baby Christian, but like I'm a baby in the sense of like I know I heard you, but like can you just confirm that like 2 more times for me?
So maybe I can pitch this to you. I actually haven't shared this thought with anybody, but you kind of brought it up. Was I've kind of hit a place in my life where, if I'm really being honest, the things that I've prayed for and like really wanted, like really actually wanted, God's fulfilled so many of them, like more of them. Like I feel very privileged in that regard. A lot of the things I prayed for, I've gotten and I've experienced. Yeah. And on the other side of the thing that I prayed for, that I was expecting to be like total happiness or total fulfillment, it wasn't there.
Yeah.
And so I got to a place where I was saying in my prayers, like very recently, I mean like in like the past week, where I'm like, God, I don't know what's going to make me happy. Like I don't know myself as well as I think I do. And so recently I've just been praying to God, like, God, give me what you know I need. Like I'm open to receiving like what you have for me, and not necessarily what I want and what I have for myself, because I've gotten the things that I had for myself. I've received the things that I thought would make me happy and I thought would complete me, and they always missed the mark. And so I really resonate with you praying and saying like, God, like reach me in a way that you know I need to be reached in, because I don't know exactly how you have to reach me, but you're God and you know me better than I know myself. Major so facts. Just please give it to me how I need to receive it. And I've hit a very similar place like super recently where like that's where I'm at too, is like, God, you have all the knowledge and I know that I'm lacking and I'm insufficient. So I'm going to put it in your hands, you know, and that kind of surrender is, it's hard to say what the feeling is because it's so new. I haven't really had a chance to sit in it and analyze it, but I feel lighter, I want to say, is like,
I agree with that.
So often we don't feel okay with I don't know, with saying I don't know. We feel like
somehow that's like it makes you inadequate in some way.
There it is. Like, you feel inadequate. You feel wrong. Where it's like I should know. Like I'm an adult. I'm grown. I should know. But it's like you get to a place where like it kind of ties into the self-confidence where you're okay with not knowing and you're okay with not having an answer or with the answer being somewhere else. Like you don't have to have it all figured out.
And I think my thing that I've learned too is that like in the like I don't know, some of that is because like automatically I think we kind of adapt our like upbringing, right? Like our parents kind of beliefs or what we've seen, like that's what we know. And so when you start to kind of like dismantle some of that and unlearn it, because you have to figure out who you are and what works for you, and that like the same things that work for them, they did the best they could. They only knew what they knew, right? But there's so much more out there now. So as you dismantle that, it's like, I don't know, because I don't want to just fall back on these old patterns of like what I thought worked and what I thought, and it's and that's not working for me, and that's not the answer anymore. So it's like I really don't know, because I'm trying to like figure out this new way of everything for me that's like, you know, healthier or happier or whatever the case may be. And like that's been a struggle too, because it's like, dang, but like that's what you're like kind of comfortable in, right? Because that's what you know. And so being uncomfortable is uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable. Yeah, being uncomfortable is uncomfortable.
I don't want to.
I don't want to do it.
I really don't. Like, I'm good with this.
You know? I was actually thinking on that the other day too. Like our parents' generation, for instance, and the parents before them for sure. You know how in Black culture, like the belt was the answer to everything.
Yes.
Where it's like, yo, you getting bad grades? Yeah, it's like you ever tried hitting them? Like the parent tells their friend, like, my kid's just not acting right. And the parents like beat them, like hit them. Like, you have to try hitting them that belt to get them acting right, you know? And in some ways, I get it, right? Is like discipline is important, and like establishing consequence for bad behavior is important, but the belt, is that really like the answer to everything? And exactly. I think the way that this ties into our conversation is that's like an old way of thinking and an old pattern that, like, if you don't dismantle it, you don't go into situations seeing like the other opportunities for growth that there are. Whereas like you don't have to beat your child, but you can like actually speak to them and help establish their way of thinking and the way that they understand themselves too. Right? Is like when they're going through an emotional experience, or like when they're like having a tantrum, or when they're crying because they don't understand their homework, rather than hitting them with the belt and throwing them back into the homework, you can ask them or establish with them, like, yeah, this is frustrating, isn't it? Like, this is difficult, and in life sometimes we're going to have to do difficult things. And you know, one thing that my parents held for me and my brothers was they held really high standards for like our grades. And that would have been in hindsight, I appreciate it, but also I think it would have been more fair if they showed us what getting good grades looks like. Like my parents never really established to us that like being a student was a set of habits and routines and disciplines. So like after you come home from school, you do your readings and you do your homework, and then before you go to bed, if you have a test the next day, you review the material, and then you go to sleep, and then when you wake up, you review it again. Like those little things, and that doesn't take long. It takes like 10, maybe 15 minutes of just scanning it and getting it established into your brain. They never showed us those patterns though. Like I had to catch that as an adult. The way that my parents pitched it was, you're not stupid, you're smart, so you're going to get good grades. And if you want to be stupid and get bad grades, then I'm going to beat you like you're a dumb animal. That was basically their approach. And in some ways it worked, because like it forced us to have to figure it out. Otherwise we would get beat. But,
good grades.
You know, you better get those grades. You don't want that belt.
Exactly.
You know? But
straight
also,
A's, don't worry about it.
I'm telling you, like our culture is serious, bro. Like those beatings were real. But it's like, I think it would have been more fair if they had also like not just showed us the consequences of losing, but also provided a clear pathway to victory. Is like, if this is what failure looks like, can you also show me what success looks like and what steps I need to take to get there? They really left us as children to like figure out how to succeed and how to make it work in academia. And if I'm being honest, we fell short because we were kids. We didn't have the same ability to reason and solve problems the same way as an adult does.
Facts.
So,
and I also think that our curriculum just keeps getting crazier and crazier.
Oh man, over time.
Yeah, and so honestly, like real talk, don't ever put me on the show. Are you smarter than a 4th grader, 5th grader, whatever?
Because the thing they know I'm 30
now, and no, I'm not.
What I knew in 5th grade is like what they're learning in like 2nd, 1st grade.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Our knowledge of the world is stacking really quickly. Yeah,
and I definitely like fell into that like narrative of like, okay, if you have math and English, you're either good at math, bad at English, good at English, bad at math. Baby, I could write the hell out of a report.
Come on.
Math.
Come on. Keep it to yourself. Yeah. Keep those formulas to yourself.
Lines and shapes, and I'm good.
And then it's like, why you put letters in there? Like, I thought this was numbers. Like, we got the alphabet.
And when do I ever use? No, for real, I'm so mad. When do I ever use this? Because I'm not an engineer. Like, when do I ever use this? And I had to pass this class to get for you to tell me that I was worthy enough to go to the next level?
Bruh.
You know what?
Y'all can keep that.
It's a scam. I hate it. And you know what's crazy? It's like, I have a bachelor's degree, I have a master's degree. Like, I believe in education, right? And I do believe in like
me too.
all the things that you learn and you pick up along that way, because it is more than just what's in the textbook. Like you said, like developing discipline, like learning like what a pattern looks like me, time blocking, how I need to maybe time block a day in order to make like I learned all of that being in these scenarios. So I believe in like education, but I'm like, when I think about like me having kids, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to force my kids to go to college. Like if they have that conversation with me, or it's like, I don't know that I really want to do like a 4-year or go further. Like, you know what? I don't know if you really got to. Like, there's a million ways to make money out here nowadays. And I know that they say like that piece of paper is like kind of get you ahead. But also I just really, in my perspective, I feel like it's more who you know compared to what you know, because every job is going to give you training anyway. Like you have 2 to 5 weeks of training in every job anyway. So everything I need to know, you're going to teach me anyway. You want me to do it your way, and maybe throw in my perspective or my personality, but like.
But you're not pulling a lot of the education, the hours you put studying, like stories. You're not pulling any of it in work.
So what was that for?
Right. I feel that. Like, I feel that.
I don't know if I want you to pay that price for that piece of paper. Like, it's an expensive piece of paper.
It is. So, and then to dig into the whole, it's who you know and not what you know. Like, I think even digging deeper into that is like emotional competence, like being good navigating emotions and other people's experiences will serve you way more than just credentials. Facts. And like credentials may get your foot in the door, it may get you into the room, but how you treat people and make people feel, how they interact with you, that's going to dictate so much more about where you go and what opportunities open to you, way more than just credentials. I mean, I have a friend who, she's also 30 and she has 2 degrees. So she has 2 undergraduate degrees, but because, and it's a little bit of a shame, but because she's like an introvert and she doesn't go out, she doesn't interact with people, it's like those credentials are just like collecting dust. Yeah. Because no one is going to knock on your room door and offer you a job. It's like you have to be in these rooms and you can't just be in the room like sitting on the wall. You have to like ask people about their story, share your story, and you have to create the opportunity to resonate with someone emotionally. And then like the opportunity, the financial opportunity, the career opportunities, those become accessible to you. But the credential itself is really it's not the main thing. It helps, but it's not the main thing.
Major facts. I think the struggle with that too is like, because I mean, I don't know, like I'm a mixture of like an introvert and an extrovert, because like if I'm outside, like I can have a good time and be fun, but also like if I don't know you, like why are you around me? Like I don't know you.
It's a little bit of a guard. It's a little bit of a guard. That's so human though.
Because I'm like also like a little bit of an introvert. Like I don't know, this is awkward, you know. So I'm a mixture of both. But like one thing I really had to like start doing as I got older was like be okay with being alone, and like not saying that like I'm lonely, but like be okay with like doing things alone, like going to a movie by myself, like showing up to a networking event by myself. Because one thing I even noticed, like he was just saying about credentials may get you in the door, but you got to have a personality and be a person like that someone wants to be around. Like I would realize that even with networking events, like because I am shy and like I have no problem, like if we're gonna do a freaking stage play, you be the star, please be the star. I got you on the curtains and lights. Like I'm gonna hold down my fort heavy. Like I have no problem with that, because I still feel like I did my job, you know? And like that's fine, but it's not when like you're also the person who is like trying to make a difference or be out there in the world and like have a business or have a career. Like, and I would do that. I would show up to networking events with people or with friends and like easily like ride their, just be in the background, like ride their coattail. Like if they go talk to someone, okay, we're gonna go talk to someone, and like I may say a few words to introduce myself and tell you what I do, but like you're never really gonna know me or my story or my why of why I'm doing these things, because like it's easier to let them talk and I'm just kind of there. I showed face, you know? So I was like, I have to start doing things by myself. So like gain this confidence to just be who I am, talk about it, let people know, like share my social media, because I wasn't. I was like, I'm cool with the background.
Damn, yeah. I will say I definitely prefer someone who's okay being in the background over someone who's like fighting for like the limelight. As far as like conflict and like friction, I definitely think yours creates less friction. Like, and granted, I'm not trying to diminish and say that like it's not hard learning how to express yourself, because it for sure is. Like I know it is, but someone who's like strong arming others and like fighting to be in the spot, they're so much more problematic. And like I feel like bringing you to be okay in the limelight is a bit easier than trying to teach someone that it's okay to like be in the background. It's okay to let someone else shine, you know. I do think they can learn it, but it's a lot more challenging. I think it's a lot more challenging.
So like we all have this all the way back to dance, because you're a dancer. Like, do you ever experience that in the dance field, like in the dance industry, where it's like, I mean, because he was totally like super like modest and just breezed over. Like the man's been on tour, like was doing like the man dances.
Yo.
He dances for real. Like he don't just be at the local parties, but if you want to catch him, maybe try catch him there. But he don't just be at the but he don't just be at the local parties. Like the man tours the world and like dances from time to time. And so like, but that's the thing, because that's a whole team of people who all can dance their ass off and like feel a type of way about their skill and their level of dance. Like, is there ever that conflict of like, well, maybe I should be this number at this point? Like
100%. And I was thinking on that. So with dance in particular, you do need to, you kind of have to keep a balanced approach. And so it is really important to be at your absolute best and to be like a star and to believe in your abilities and to show them unabashedly. By the same hand, you can't be so self-involved that your glory takes priority over the audience's experience. It takes priority over like the entire production and how that needs to be portrayed. Like, you still need to find your way to fit into the grand scheme of things, because ultimately the goal isn't to be like the greatest performer. The goal isn't to be admired by the crowd. It's not to be the one person that shines. It's to be a contribution to the greater piece and for the piece to shine, for everyone to shine. And so there's definitely that balance that you have to strike, where you're not trying to make yourself so small that you're the weakest link and everyone's like, damn, everyone's doing great, but what?
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be way you are the star, because why are you falling off?
Well said. You don't want to be the star in like the weakest side, but you also don't want to like, it's kind of tricky finding that balance. And when I was first learning to dance too, when I was in classes, that was something that was a little bit, it was an obstacle for me, because I would get into these dance classes and I would think I have to shine. I have to be the one that the teacher acknowledges. And it would put me in a competitive kind of frame. Not that the environment was necessarily competitive, but my perspective on my fellow students was competitive. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, we weren't inherently like up against one another is what I'm saying, but I would position myself so that they were like my opposition. And maybe at the 2-year mark, 2.5 years, this was like, it took me a minute to come into this. I realized we're actually all like in this together. Like, these aren't my enemies. Like, these aren't necessarily my opponents. And if I see someone in class doing something that's great or amazing, again, rather than allowing the jealousy to fester and to be like, I can one up him, I'll show him better, he's not dope, I would actually watch them and say, okay, like, that really touched me and I love that. Like, what about it did I love? And then taking it a step further and actually expressing that to the person who did it, where I'm like, yo, I really like how you hit that spin, or like, yo, the way that you dragged out that move, it really was like, great choice, you know? And then that's a part of the emotional game of like, it's not what you know, but who you know. Is when someone does touch you, or when someone has something great about them, tell them. That's an opportunity to connect. That's a chance to resonate and to make that connection, you know? And I think it does take a lot of humility, but ironically, it makes you seem so damn confident. Like, it makes you seem so self-assured when you can acknowledge the greatness in someone else without it taking away from yourself. That's like a superpower. And it does take a bit of time to develop, especially if you come from a place where you feel like uplifting other people is putting yourself down. But once you dismantle that, once you work through that, oh my God, it's such a superpower. And it really does open a lot of opportunities to you.
And you have to think about it on the flip side too, like the same way you would, you know, if you're getting dressed to go out somewhere and like, you know that you put on a certain thing, not saying that like, oh, you want compliments, but it's like, yo, like, I'm a sneakerhead, y'all. So like, my shoes, it's always my shoes for me. I'm like, if I got a new pair of shoes and I put them on and I'm risking them getting stepped on out here, you better compliment these shoes.
By the way, I like your shoes. I like these Jordans. Those Jordans.
But like, that's like my thing though. Like, if that's your thing, right? And like, if that's on someone's heart, the same way you would want to be complimented, like, compliment someone else. Like, what if that's what they needed that day or that night? Like, what if they just needed to hear an uplifting word? Like, it literally does not take anything from you. If anything, I feel like it should make you, I don't know, give you more joy or peace to like be able to like give to others, because the Bible definitely says it's better to give than to receive. Like, I mean, why can't, it's a compliment. That's free.
That's so free. Come on, it's free. In this economy,
right?
You need free.
Oh my gosh.
It's so funny.
But I will say I love the dance community, because like I can't dance, y'all, but for real, I've been recently going to like these dance classes with like friends, and like I went to one of Austin's dance classes. I can't dance, but like I will do it, right? And like, I'm just trying to be better and pick up skills and find things that I can find joy in, right? And like, there is a joy in like dancing and moving your body, and I think once you get to a level of like freedom where like you stop, because me, I'm very in my head. Like that's my thing with dancing,
that's my battle too.
I'm very in my head about it. Like, how does it look? Does it come off awkward? Like, did I actually hit that beat? Like, you know, so like it's just mind going the whole entire time. And so the dance community though in these dance classes is so supportive. Like people are so fun, so supportive. Like I think I've been to like 4 dance classes recently. I went to 2 Hills and then like 2 yours and then another hip hop. And like even though like maybe I wasn't doing the best, like literally looking around, there's other people who also weren't doing great, but there's also other people who were killing it. And like me, I'm gonna take the back of the class always because I'm still just not there yet. But like even in taking the back of the class, it's like looking around, you can see the levels, and like no matter what level, like I remember in the hip hop class, like I did terrible because it was like, and I did not know this before I showed up, but like these were like literally the profesh. Like these are the people that like work with Usher, and like they're actually in this class also scoping out other people who may need to replace someone like Usher or Chris Brown or whoever's background dancers, right? As they're going on these long tours, right? And so I was not up to par. Like, hold on, you did not tell me this is ultra advanced. Like, yo. So I was not doing the best, but still the amount of like guys and girls that were in that class that were like super supportive, like, no, you got it. Just like maybe do this. Like try to feel more comfortable doing this. Like think about it slower. Like I know he's teaching it fast, but like try to break it down in your brain. I was just like, y'all are so incredible because like you can be stepping on me like an ant right now and like, bro, just leave. And you're not. Like you're uplifting. I love that about the dance community because people look for community, and then I think when they get rejected or hurt in these communities, that's what really messes up things too. Like just like church hurt. Here we are, you know.
Well, I will say too though, that's kind of a testament to who you are also, because like when you enter an environment, in some ways, and this isn't to say that like there aren't toxic environments or genuinely good environments, but in some ways you get what you evoke out of people. And I think that just like who you are, like your energy, your spirit, you call to people who are good and who do want to support and uplift, because that's who you are. You are supportive and you are uplifting and you are encouraging. And so I think there's kind of a resonance happening there where like in class, you received what you would have in their position have given. But I'll just speak personally. There have been times where like I'll go into a dance class and again, I'm in that competitive mind frame where I'm like, yo, these motherfuckers think they're better than me. And like, you know, they think they're so good and they're stuck up. And it's like, that you can smell that. Like you don't have to read my mind. Like you can smell it on me. Like when you're talking to me, even if I was interacting with someone who was encouraging and uplifting, it's like they're starting from behind the starting line. It's like they have to make up so much for me to actually realize, oh, you are cool, and like this isn't so bad. It's like they have to like make up that deficit just for me to see them for who they actually were. And I'd like to be bold and say I'm not the only one who's done that. I think there are other people who go into environments that genuinely could like have good people in them and great people in them, but because of how we approach it, because of our own negativity, we don't see them. We're not enabling ourselves to resonate with them. But yeah, you're a really good person, so I'm not surprised to hear that like you go into these dance classes and your experience with the community is good. And it's like, okay, that makes sense. It's like you're a giver, and so like people with that off of you, like they with like that kind of abundance and that giving spirit, and it makes them want to do the same. It makes them want to do the same because you also sense it when you're around someone who wants to take, or like someone who's trying to be admired from someone who wants a follower or they want a subscriber. You with that, and people like you and I, when we sense that, I think it's like they get the guard, they get the like I have to protect myself. Like this isn't safe. But for someone who's also giving and encouraging and loving, it's like, yo, this is what I want. Like I want someone who's like that. I want to give. I just don't want to be abused. I don't want to be exploited. So.
Major facts.
Yeah.
What would you say your favorite style of dance is? If you can.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. Okay. I really like the Magic Mike stripping shit. Okay. Like that is my that is my style. Like when I toured the US, it was with a Magic Mike production company, and so that was what I was doing. Is like 7 days a week we're like doing girls' night out and just so
killing it.
That's like that's my shit, you know. Like, and that's another reason why I'm glad I got into weightlifting, is because that helped my physique get built for that. So. That's probably my favorite. And then right behind that is hip hop, like steezy hip hop, like Nays, Dougies, like that whole genre.
I love that because you kill that too. I mean, all of it. But
I love you.
That makes sense.
Those are the two for sure.
Okay, what do you think sets dance apart from other forms of art?
Damn, that is a great question. I've thought about it a little bit, but I had a really close friend who was one of my first dance teachers, and he said his perspective was that dance is the most intimate form of art, because whereas the painter is using the brush, the sculptor is using the chisel, dancers are using their body. And so I am the instrument. Like, this is my art. And I guess an aspect of it that I think makes it kind of different from other forms of art is it's so fleeting. Right? And so, like, you can capture it in a video and you can capture it like in memory, but like that moment of performing,
that makes sense.
It comes and goes like that. And you kind of you have to leave things where they are, and you have to be okay with the outcome, because the outcome is gone. And there's another one coming up soon. And it's like it's kind of that where it's like every day is the Olympics. It's like there is no preparation. Like, your moment of shine is now, but at the same time, by the same token, this is all leading up to the next moment too. And so it's a weird thing where
that's really interesting to like look at it that way.
It's so profound, and it really does. That weight, it kind of, it weighs on you in kind of an oppressive way when you're first starting, when you're new, because it's like, okay, now it's time to execute and make it happen. But then as you get more reference experiences, those moments start to become more like explorative, where you're like, okay, let's see what happens next. And there's just kind of this newness, and you're excited by it. And it's I think that's what sets it apart.
I love that.
Yeah.
I really love that. I mean, because there's definitely not, I mean, maybe there is, but I don't feel like there's a correlation between that and photography. But like you saying that, like, I think about that with photography too, right? Like when you learn something new that you can do with your camera, like some people don't know how to do long exposure, where it's like it gives you those trails in a photo, right?
Yo, I
but
love
like,
that. I love
right? But like, if you learn how to do that and then you start going out there and trying to do it, it's like every chance that you get to do it is a new experience. And it's like, ooh, okay, what can I create this time?
Yes.
How is it going to look this time? Like, and that's so dance. I get that. Like, I get that when you're saying, like, with the dance, like, okay, like, yes, in the beginning, like, this is my time to shine, but also, like, every new time is my time to shine.
Yes.
Like, what do I gain from it this time? Like, what move did I really just, like, nail? Like, you know, like,
exactly.
So that's good.
And even the negative experiences, like, those inform you, too, and build you up. Like, to share a kind of funny story, Jason Derulo, a few years ago, he was having auditions for, like, a tour. And I went, and they taught us a routine. And at the end of the routine, we got to like do a freestyle move. He was like, I just want you to end it in like a pose or something. And me being me, I was like, yo, I'm going to end this with like a head spin. And then I'm going to stop on beat. I'm going to press up to a handstand, and I'm going to freeze. I don't practice head spins. So what happened was the music was playing, and then like at the end of the routine, the music stops and everyone is in their pose. So the music is playing. We're doing our dance, and then the music stops, and then I try and kick into a head spin. I spin on the top part of my ear, land on my shoulder, and face plant. And Jason Derulo and the people at the table just like collapse on each other laughing. They're like, this motherfucker. Needless to say, I didn't go on that tour. I didn't book that one. But
that wasn't the one.
That moment was mortifying. I mean, like, I was just like, my neck. And I'm just like, so embarrassed.
Like injuries, like, did you get like burn on your ear?
I was good, but I was just like, fuck, man, that sucked.
Yeah.
And, you know, it really did inform me, though, where it was like, yeah, you don't want to take too many risks. Is like, in that moment of shine, like, you kind of have like adrenaline going, and so sometimes that can bring you up to a level that you've never been at before, but usually you're going to fall to your level of preparation. So the things that you've done consistently over and over in training, that's going to be what you nail.
I love that.
And so that was a hard lesson there, was like, don't get too experimental in those moments where you really want to like shine and it really matters.
Yeah.
Because it would have been cool to have booked that tour, but also I kind of have a faith approach where like that tour just wasn't for me, you know? I wasn't meant to go there. And instead I was meant to have a funny story about me breaking my neck in front of Jason Derulo. So,
but like,
you know, I'll take it.
He did break his neck, so...
Yo,
I mean, he laughed at one man, and then here we are.
Then, you know, I'll take it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, what do you think the most challenging thing about dance is?
The physical aspect, the training, definitely, because it's easy to overtrain, and recovery is underappreciated in the dance community. So things like stretching every single day, your diet's included in that too. And so if you're feeding your body junk food, it's going to show in the way that you perform, and you're just going to be so much more likely for injury. Like the physical aspect of dancing. The emotional aspect, I think, for me at least personally, like the rejections from the auditions, the failures, those become easier to carry with maturity. Mm-hmm. The physical aspect never really gets easier. Okay. Like stretching constantly, being mindful of what you eat, even the physical exertion, right, of like hitting your movement as sharp as you possibly can in the execution. You get better at it, but I can't say it ever really gets easier. Okay. So that's probably the most challenging from my perspective anyway.
I would agree with that in general, because being fit is that's a job. Right. It's a job.
Yeah, and in dance, like you have to take that seriously because your body is your instrument. Yes. Like, you have to take care of it.
Wow.
You have to take care of it.
Yeah, that's why you were always physically fit. He got a sweater on, but the man is fit. So my nickname for him is Iron Man for a reason.
I love you.
In my phone, his name is just Iron Man.
Yo. Like, who she texting? Tony Stark?
Yeah, literally. It's Iron Man. It's him. Okay, so I don't want to keep you all day. So, last couple things. So, who are you without saying what you do?
Damn, that is a profound question. Especially, not to make this too like political, but as a man, I think we often define ourselves solely by what we do. Mm-hmm. Like the career that we do, what value we bring to bear. Without saying who I am, without what I do, I'm someone who really loves the human experience and who really values connecting with others. Like, I love hearing other people's story. I love understanding what life is like in their shoes, like putting on their shoes and taking a few steps in them. I don't know if that's exactly an action, but it's how I try to live my life. So if that were to give insight to who I am, and I think it does, then that would be my answer.
It definitely does. I love that. Okay. All right. So we're going to wrap this up with a little, it's all been fun, but like a little bit of fun. Let's see if we can do 45 seconds of like rapid fire.
Oh shit.
So let me set 45 seconds on this clock, because I'll just keep going.
Oh my gosh. Here we go.
It's not bad. Like, some of these are just like, would you rather?
No, it's not the questions. I don't trust myself. Like, rapid fire, I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth. Like, I'm just as nervous as anyone else. I don't know what's going to happen here.
You're going to be all right. Okay. All right. So, we are going to go. Okay. Dancing or running?
Dancing.
Water or lemonade?
Water.
Reading or writing?
Writing.
What's your favorite view?
Next.
Biggest pet peeve?
People who don't listen, talk too much.
Okay. Dream car?
Ooh, damn, I don't have one.
Okay.
I know.
Favorite animal?
Dogs. They're so sweet. I love dogs.
If you could choose a superpower, what would it be?
Super strength.
Okay. Yeah. You already have that. What? Okay. Anyway, one fruit you would never try.
There's that stink fruit. I think it's called a jackfruit.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm good.
Oh, you don't want to be Luffy?
I'm okay. Luffy? I'm cool. Yeah. No, I'm cool.
Do you think Area 51 is real?
I do.
Okay.
I think there are aliens. Yeah.
That was time.
All right. Yeah. Let's go.
There we go. So, Austin, literally, this has been a pure joy, and we could keep going all day long, but I want to get you back to your day.
We could.
I appreciate you so much. Before you go, like, tell the people where to find you, what to look for, what you have coming up, what you're working on, all the things. Like, let them have it.
Yeah, so right now I'm working on getting my next venture going as far as psychology and writing. So I'm working on a book. I haven't come up with the title for it yet, but it's definitely going to be a book being released soon. Follow me on Instagram at AustinJRB. If you go on YouTube and type in Austin J. Bailey, I'll pop right up. And that's really about the only socials I'm on is Instagram and YouTube. So, Amanda, thank you so much for having me. This was amazing. And I'm glad that we got to know each other a little bit better and to exchange more talks. And I'm excited to see what you do.
You know, this is the first one, but I love him so much. And like I said, our conversations can go. So he might be back. Like, if he's willing to come back, he might be back.
Of course.
I love it. But yes, thank you guys for watching this episode. Make sure you tap in with Austin, follow him, subscribe, like all the things. He is truly incredible. I don't know if he's taking new friends or not, but you can figure that out with him.
Yo.
You're not going to take my spot, though, just so we're clear.
Just be very clear. One of a kind. She's going nowhere.
Just so we're clear, you're not taking my spot. But yeah, you can check in with him. Other than that, make sure you follow me. Social media, the main hub for everything is smile_4_Amanda. You check me out there. And of course, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Any questions that you have for Austin, if you don't get to him directly, shoot them to me and I'll get the man back. Easy peasy. But again, thank you so much for being here. I love you so much. We love you guys too. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Boom.